Now it's time to add the next interesting tool, stair. So when you want to design the stair in ArchiCAD, the tool is slightly complicated, uh, but yet it is very flexible and very interesting. So I'll show you a few simple things first of all, and then later we'll talk about some complicated options also, what probably you can try to work for. First of all, before I proceed with the stair tool, I'm going to add one story. So I'm just going to give a right click over here and I'll say story settings. You can even use Control 7 as it is mentioned. Here I'll see insert above and my story name will be terrace. The reason behind this is nothing but I would like to connect my stair from my ground floor to terrace. Then you will see if in case you don't have a story about the last story and if still you want to add the stair over there, of course you can try to put that with without link also. And we are going to talk about both the options, a linked stair and non-linked. So now just double click on the stair tool. Make sure the default stair default setting is the title for the dialog. Here you can check out again on the left side, there are several pages. So the first page is nothing but the main page is stair. And then you have a structure, finish, floor plan display and reflected ceiling plan display. Every particular group you can open and try to access the ingredients of that. For example, the main stair page, you can check out what is the first rollout, geometry and positioning. Then you have a second rollout as rules and standards, and then afterwards classification properties. This is supposed to be the first one. So we are going to talk about this briefly, and then we'll proceed for the remaining also. Now I'm just going to first of all open the geometry and positioning as my rollout. Here you can check out the stair is altogether starts from the home story ground floor and it links to the upper story terrace. Both the total height which you're going to travel will be the distance between the two stories, which is 3 meters. But there is a offset for the subfloor thickness, that is a bottom offset to the home story and then there is a top offset to the top link story. This is nothing but in case if you have a floor finish to be get considered, you can. Again, for a while I'm not going to do this, so I'm just going to say 0 and 0 on both the sides. So you will understand altogether this will end up with a 3 meter itself, which is a clear, which is nothing but top to top. That is ground floor top till the terrace floor top. The height is 3 meter. Now you have a choice of designing the stair width. So I'll try to definitely put this, say maybe you work for the 1200. Okay. Then afterwards, if you go for the next field, that is number of risers. Now, number of risers, this can be get determined from the availabilities, which ArchiCAD is automatically computing as per the total height to climb and the number of risers and other things. So, in case if you want to work with some fixed conditions, say for example, my choice will be the riser cannot be 187.5 and so on. I want to keep it standard 150, which is quite feasible and suitable also. So right now, fortunately, it is getting displayed over here. So you can select or you can type also. You can try to type also. So with the 150, I need 20 risers altogether, which is quite a common thing. Where the conditions are supposed to be, the stair width, starts with riser or trade. These are the two possibilities, and ends with the trade or riser. Okay, so according to that, this thing will get readjusted. Another thing, there is a trade also. That is something, but whether you have a say flexible going is nothing but trade, and fixed going depth. Okay, so if in case you try to use this, remember now, if I'm using this particular first option, then it says that the equation which is getting delivered, that is G for the going, is either less than or equal to 300 or it can be up to 350. Okay, so how these things are getting controlled, to be honest, If you just check out the second rollout known as the rules and standards, where it says that how the things should be work, calculate length along arc, and this is nothing but in case if you have what you can say circular spiral staircase or some curve landing and so on. So anyway, this first rules and standard, out of that, what we are more interested in the sub rollout as a trade and riser. The riser height R, it can be minimum and maximum. If you're not interested to put the threshold for some reason, you can either then remove that criteria. That is, there's no condition of max and there is no condition of minimum. I will decide what I want to go for. So if you just check out now, there is a lot of liberty which you have received. But if you put any of the threshold, you will realize that there might be a reduction in the possibilities. So this is what you should always remember, that according to your rules, these possibilities are computed. In the same manner, the going, whether you want to go for a minimum and maximum logic. If you say I'm not interested for the minimum and maximum logic, then what will happen? Obviously, then there's no possibility that the going, that is the trade, will not be get restricted in this much of range. It will be widely accepted as per your choice. But otherwise, you want to restrict, you please go ahead and try to restrict. Now, same way, there is one equation, 2 into riser plus 1 going. This is a standard rule to actually define the comfort zone for the stair. So if in case you know that this is a worldwide standard equation, which probably one has to follow, that if this equation end up with the 600, that is the best design. Maximum it can go up to 650. Something above 650 or something below 600 is not a good design for the stair, which can consider for the climb comfort zone for the user to at the time of climbing the steps. Okay, so again, this is really a beautiful logic. You should follow these things. Now, in case if you say I'm not going to do all these things, I want to really fix the thing for a particular trade depth, that is going size, then you can just say fix going depth and you can put a required value over here, that is 300. So for a while I'm going to follow these things like 1200 stair width, then 20 as my number of risers, because 150 is my riser height, and 300 will be my going depth, with the consideration that my starting is supposed to be with the riser and ending is with supposed to be trade. This is supposed to be by default logic. Later we'll try to change this also. So let's go ahead now, because before that definitely I should go and check for the structure. Now there's the structure possibility. If you remove this, then there won't be any structure. There will be only the finish, that is the trade and riser covers. So be careful about that. So it depends on your choice how you want to deal with. So structure I'll go for, and then when you go for the structure option, then it says that whether you want to what should be the flight structure, whether it's a monolithic beam and cantilevered and so on. The stringer on the left and right, you can see the preview gets changed automatically in your this display. So please follow the required thing. So I'll go for the monolithic option, and then landing structure again monolithic. So it's a uniform thing everywhere. In the for the further thing, like my flight settings, because I have decided that there should be the flight structure and there should be the landing structure. These are the two options which I have already selected. Then how about there's a particular design? So to design the flight in the monolithic condition, again you have these possibilities that you can just try to play with. Okay, so I'm going to continue with the vest slab concept with a constant thickness. So here by default the vest slab for the stair was 200 millimeter. Then that is a smooth bottom which you want to design. So I'll say it should be 150. That is supposed to be more than sufficient for my current need. And here in the second rollout, that is monolithic component settings, I'm not going to change much of the thing. Only I'm going to concentrate on my this building material. Instead of concrete structure, I'll say reinforced concrete structure, which is supposed to be again a higher strength material, building material, I can see. I'm not going to override any surface at present. And then there is one more rollout which you should just at least note, that support connections, like when it starts, how the connection should be. So these are the setting in between. Then you have any mid landing setting, and all those things. So every point where you click, accordingly you can decide how this flight should be. That's what I say, that altogether the program is little bit complicated because too many settings. But still, once you become a regular user, I don't think that will be a problem for you. Now let's go for the landing as a monolithic, because this is the first page I'm through. For the second page, again by default 150 is automatically repeated from there, even the same reinforced concrete structure as a building material. So almost I'm done with my needful basic settings, what I can see. We'll talk about the floor plan display and how it works later, because immediately I cannot focus on this. Let's place it, experience the thing, and then we'll decide how it goes. So altogether, it's time to say okay, so that I can proceed for the further drafting. But the layer which is getting utilized is the structural stair and railing. This is by default layer which ArchiCAD is saying. So anyway, I'll just say okay for this. And now if you check out at the top, where you can see now whether you're going to climb upwards or downward from the current story, that you have to decide. Do you want to have a rail which is getting placed on the left side or right side, or later also you can place it. So immediately I'm not going to activate this. Later we'll try to place it. And then baseline reference. This is just like a geometry method concept, because the way you used to place the wall, you used to have from the reference line, the overall wall thickness is getting either distributed on the left hand or the left side of this reference line, or the right side, or center justified. So same logic even you can apply over here. Okay, so let's try to keep this something, for example, okay, I'll just go for this for a while. Let's see how it goes. Don't worry, you can change it anytime at the time of drafting also. And that's it. Now you have to read the prompt. It is written, enter first vertex of stair baseline. There are two possibilities. One can, first of all, you can even just draw a 2D line work and then just use the magic wand your work is through. If you're not comfortable and sure about that, you can start using the pick points also. Okay, so what I'm going to do, see for example, now if I decide that my stair should start from this particular point, and then I'm going to climb and complete the stair in this manner. Okay, so I'm just going to pick one point. Moment I pick, now you'll see that my steps which are getting delivered, that is from the reference line, it is on the upper side. So if you say no, I am not interested in this way, I just want to go for this option, you can change it, and then accordingly you will get the benefit. Now what will be the first possibility, that if I just try to click up to the same point, you will realize there are almost 16 or 17 risers are getting considered. No worries, you can pick the point, but before that just zoom and just see that exact location which you're willing to pick. Okay, because otherwise what will happen, if in case your pick location is not appropriate, then you may face a problem. So I'll just pick this point. Actually it is 4810, okay, which is not a correct by 10 millimeter, but that's fine. You can fine tune it also, or otherwise you can push this staircase 10 millimeter later back. Okay, so if you want to complete this in intervals of exact value, that is multiples of 300 probably, I'll just pick this point. Okay, and from there when I start turning, you must have realized also on your screen, you must have received one pet palette also. Okay, so if you just check out, there's one pet palette which I've already received when I pick my first point, and then that's the reason you are getting this possibilities that I can draw the first, that is the segment which I have drawn, that is reference line which I have placed. Okay, baseline for this particular stair. Why it was so? Because my by default flight mode, that particular pet palette says that you are supposed to draw now the flight. You're not willing to draw the landing or the winders with the two possibilities. Okay, so now if you try to see that, okay, no, from this point onward I'm going to actually add the landing, so surely you can change this. But remember now, because the flight was selected, these are different possibilities. Your this baseline can be constructed, whether it can be a segment or a curve edge or a combination of that and so on. I'll just push my this particular option to the landing now. You can even hit the F, as you know, the function key and so on. So now if I go and try to work over here, And if I try to again just try to come to this particular location exactly 3150, and if I pick a point, and then again now, because my next point node which I have to place is supposed to be this, but that cannot be a landing now again. So remember, you can just try to use this option of G to change the geometry method, and then later you can try to work for. Okay, so if I see that no, now my geometry method, and again the segment which I am going to construct, correct, and here my 20 steps are actually getting considered to be get over. Okay, because in between there are the landing was not considered. Like, you can check out actually once I try to drag my mouse, instead of landing the full length landing, I can say, you will get the landing on the automatic turnings, and the steps are getting added further. So of course, remember now, if you get these all your, what you can say, guideline circles and the other these blue kind of symbols, no, you can even use a single escape to remove them, not multiple escape, only one escape just to remove them, or otherwise you can turn off this options also. That is as per your choice. Now I'll just complete this by using the logic. See now the way I'm placing my mouse nearer to this, and if you just shake out, now if I put that, this should be a rounded figure as a 2400, because I cannot go for a 2408 which is getting highlighted. So I'll just go for 2400, and you will see my stair was designed. Of course, maybe this is not the one the way you were expecting, because you don't want to have a steps on the turning point. That is, the landing should be there instead of considered as a flight. Okay, so that also we can adjust, so don't worry about that. But altogether our stair was added, at least, because 20 steps are mandatory, and everything was done. Now if you want to see this in 3D, yes, there are possibilities, like either you can just select only that much of part and you can go ahead, or otherwise best possibility, I can right now, you can check out my stair is actually ready, but from here I can see this, correct? Then you will see, how can I see that from inside or any other possibility? I will give you one choice for this, and the option which I want to specify is nothing but, you just go inside the layer, okay, and here the wall layer which you have, we can try to make it as a transparent instead of a solid. Instead of keeping it off, you can turn off, no worries about that. But if you feel that okay, I want to experience the wall but in the wireframe mode instead of the solid, you can have this also. Let's try this, say okay for this, and then if you just try to take the benefit of your orbit tool, you will realize how this entire thing can be get experienced. That means all the wireframe structure, and this is what your stair is going to look like. Of course, later I am going to edit this and make, we can try to convert this in another format instead of, if someone doesn't want to use this steps on the as a second flight, you just want to have a pure landing and then you want to go for the next flight, so that can be also get done. So let's see how we can do that. But first of all, you should please try these things, and this is how I'm expecting that your end product at the base level or the beginning level should be.